So I've had a little bit of a come to Jesus moment after meeting with my PhD supervisor yesterday, which means that we need to lock in on the dissertation today because I have a chapter due in 2 months.
Yes, you heard that right. We need to get to work. So today I am working on actually moving all of my dissertation notes over to Scrivener. I have been trying so many different systems for organizing my dissertation, but this just offers such clarity. I wasn't setting up the entire thing in the morning, however, because I'm a big believer that before you jump into admin tasks, you should do your hardest task of the day, which for me was going through the original charter for Virginia. Afterward, however, and just before lunch, I decided to go ahead and move all of my notes over from Google Notes to Scrivener. I have a video on this coming to YouTube, so if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. However, it was actually really simple to move everything over, so I continued my notes and then took a little bit of a lunch break to have some ramen. By this point, however, I'm hitting that afternoon slump, so I grab another cup of matcha and then begin working on the Virginia Company papers yet again. Moo offered a little bit of support, and I jumped on an accountability call with Maya and Grace in order to begin working through this one article on the Virginia Company and the lack of documentation between 1608 and 1615. One of the lovely things about being a historian of the 17th century is that actually a lot of the documents went missing. We don't know where they are. So things like financial statements and the letter to the governor of Virginia went missing. We don't have them. So therefore, I am just trying to work around it. Now I'll give you my first impressions of Scrivener. First and foremost, I really like the filing system. It's really organized, and I like that I can work in individual sections rather than looking at a gigantic empty document. There's also gamification features such as word counts and progress trackers, which is really nice, especially if you need a little bit of extra motivation. But I'm going to keep playing around with it, and please let me know if you have any questions I can include in the YouTube video.